secret now. I see dead people.
Welcome to Blondes and Booze. You are about to embark on a journey, one that often leads to more questions than answers. But fear not, your host, Krista, Aaron, and Brandy have the experience, the perseverance, and yes, even the gifts to pull back the veil and allow us to glimpse the other side. They will share not only their experiences, but will introduce you to world-renowned researchers and experiencers to help you find answers in the murky waters of what we call the paranormal. Their bonds with each other reach far beyond friendship, resulting in a pull-no-punches approach to the many subjects they explore. Their goal? To open eyes, hearts, and even minds to what lies on the other side, and the answers residing there.
Hey, welcome. Hey,
Welcome,
Brandy.
everybody. Hey.
Appreciate everybody being here tonight. I'm at a different location, as you guys can tell. I am at the Ray County Museum in Richmond, Missouri. And I'm here tonight and tomorrow night. And then Saturday night, we all go to Malvern Manor. And I think Brandy froze up. Brandy froze up. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Tex up. Hey, Tex. Right? Yeah, Brandy's froze. She's yeah. There she goes. Anyway, no, appreciate everybody being here. And like I said, I'm at the Ray County Museum. Brandy will be here tomorrow night with me, and we're gonna go live here. And a lot of weirdness happens here, so it should be a pretty interesting show. So anyway, want to remind everybody this week, Monday nights, watch Texas Front Porch with Tex and Brandy at 8 p.m. Central. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central is Van Buren Variety. And then at 8 p.m. is Beyond BMR with BMR and Tex. Wednesday nights is, what's Danielle's show called again, Tex?
Diva Dimension.
Diva Dimension. And what time does she come on? Is going to be her regular time?
11 Central.
11 p.m. Central. So catch that. And then Thursdays at noon is brunch with BMR and myself. And then Thursday nights, you got Blondes and the Booze. Friday, you got us with the Woo. And then Saturday, you have Tex and Danielle Diva with Infamous Minds at 2 p.m. I don't usually do that. That's Brandy's job.
It's a mouthful, I'm telling you.
It is. It totally is. I also, it's been quite a day today. How have you been?
You know what? Pretty good. I slept in.
You slept in, huh? Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you. Of course, I was supposed to be up there with you.
Yep.
And, that didn't happen.
Life happens.
It didn't happen. I am not happy about it. I am, but you do what you got to do, or you don't do what you can't do, whatever. So anyway, I'm on vacation.
There you go.
So I said, to hell with it, and I slept in.
I don't blame you. No reason why you couldn't. So there's something I do want to touch briefly on real quick. There's somebody out there that has made fake profiles of myself and Brandy, the Nana Boss, D.A. Roberts, Robbie Raines, and this particular person has claim to be in the military. We have information that it is absolutely false. He is stalking and harassing, and he's been in trouble for stalking before as well. So I just want to remind everybody that any of those profiles that you may see out there, please report them and then message us. Either message us at Blondes and Booze on Facebook, or if we're friends with you personally, any one of us, message us and let us know that you saw it, and so we can take care of it. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that what's going on. So yeah.
Interesting. See,
Yeah,
that's what happens. You know you're internet famous when you get your own stalker.
Well, it's not like, I don't know. He's mad at some people and he's taking it out on others,
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. So, and he has no reason to be mad at anybody, because, all everybody has tried to do is help him. He has taken people for money, and I'm talking like several grand, not just a couple hundred. He's really, really a POS. That's all I can say.
Kind of sounds that way.
Yeah. So anyway, but we'll move on. And unfortunately, I have no idea why our guest did not show up, but he did not. So you're stuck with me and Tex for now. So I guess it's not so bad, is it, Tex? I hope they don't.
No, we can talk some Dogman.
Let's do it.
For sure.
Yeah, because that's that's what we were going to talk about. So I'm not really too sure. Earlier in the week, I had told him about it and everything was good. So I don't know if something came up or what. So, but it happens. So that's with live shows.
And that's how it is. You just got to roll with the punches,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, you never can tell what's, what happens 5 minutes before they're supposed to log on.
No.
It could be internet issues, could be personal problems, could be a lot of things, So
Sure. Yeah. Oh, Brendy's back. Maybe.
She's trying.
She's trying.
It's a little harder to move this setup.
Well, you're back.
I got it. I moved. Yes.
You moved. You're back.
Yes.
That works. Well, we were just talking about, Carlito. We don't know what happened, that he's not here, but we're here to talk some Dogman. So anyway, yeah. We're here to talk Dogman tonight. We're still going to do it.
Hell yeah, we're going to do it.
Yep.
There's been a lot of people talking about the origin of these things. What are they? And the bottom line is, we don't know.
Right.
As most of you know, I've been doing a series all month on this very topic. Having a lot of great guests on and getting their 2 cents worth. And that's exactly what it is. I mean, we're just speculating here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that there are people out there that claim to know more than the rest of us do, because they possibly may be communicating with these things. They have divine knowledge or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's these people that I have to question if you're close with these creatures, or somehow you can't just give the answer. If somebody asks you a question, how do you know, or whatever, you can't just say because. That won't cut it. And and the reason it won't is because I think those people should be held to the same standards we are as researchers. If we submit, evidence, we still get, drug under the bus. But when somebody goes, oh, well, I communicate with these things, or I have them on my property. I see them daily, but you don't have any evidence. You're going to get questioned.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not beating anybody up here. I'm just saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know,
Well, now that we've been doing the series text, we've been doing this all month. I I think I'm more confused than ever.
hmm
I mean, because everybody has their own opinions and everybody
yep.
has their own ideas, but nobody has the answer.
Right.
So like I said, I'm getting pretty confused. I mean,
Yeah.
intrigued, but confused.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
There's a comment here, Facebook user, and I'm sorry your name's not showing up through this program. It just says Facebook user on our side, but it says, has there ever been any Dogman sightings in Missouri? Absolutely, there has. Several. Actually, there's last year, the end of last year, there was a Amazon driver who was killed. They say by dogs, by people's pets. It was supposed to be a English Mastiff and a German Shepherd, and just nothing adds up about it. I mean, they've never released the names. They never did check the dogs, to see if they had human remains in them or anything like that. So that's one here that's probably only about 8 miles right now from me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of others in the
Yeah.
state of Missouri.
The story still doesn't make sense. They put down the dogs just saying that they were aggressive. Well, you were in their home. You busted in their home. Their owners aren't home. They're going to be a
Yeah,
little upset. But they never
right,
did test their stomach contents. They never
right,
released if the dogs even had any blood on them that would support,
right.
them, ending somebody's life. You would
Yeah,
think, okay. But
hmm
no, that's going to be
yeah.
always a mystery.
And then about 8 miles south of here, our friend D.A. Roberts, we were doing an event last year in September, and we actually had a little, I would say, Bigfoot activity that evening. He was speaking on Bigfoot, and we were all sitting around a campfire, and something was thrown, and it landed between DA's wife and my.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. She froze up. It's the little gremlin problems we're having. But yeah, there was something that was thrown, and we couldn't identify it because we're out there by campfire. All we have is that light. We're not looking, and it did land right between them.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I mean, that all kind of took us all by surprise because I could see right in between them,
Yeah.
and I didn't see a thing. Why it would land where it landed, in anywhere in that area. There were no trees hanging over where it could have just fallen. It had
Right.
to have been thrown.
Right. So, and then when DA and his family were leaving, they all saw, and it was probably maybe half mile, 3/4 of a mile from where we were. They saw what they believed to be a dogman cross in front of them, and it came out of a cornfield.
Or
So,
something, or something close to it. I mean, you really
I
can't
believe
say
he
for sure in a split
said that
second.
I believe he said that now quote me if I'm wrong, but he said that the shoulders were bigger than the front of the hood of his car, and he has like an SUV. So it was on all fours, and
Right.
so that's just two right here within, a 10-mile radius of where we're at. And right now I'm over towards like the Kansas City side, but there's I've heard of a dogman encounter down by the St. Louis Arch, and
Yes.
there's one. I live in O'Fallon, Missouri, and there's one that was off of Highway 79, which is right outside of O'Fallon, Missouri. So they're all over. There's some around Brandy. There's some, I believe, around Springfield, Missouri area. They're all over the state, and honestly, not just this state. I do believe they're in all states. I think all states have had reports except for Hawaii, and I could be wrong on that.
No,
You know,
I
the
think
wrong,
you're correct.
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Sasquatch. I mean, all the every state in the lower 48's had reports, and Now, Hawaii, you get more to the little people over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know about canid creatures. I really haven't looked into that over in Hawaii. I'll look into that, see if I can dig anything up. But getting back to the whole stuff being thrown, and a lot of people equate that to, oh well, it's Bigfoot. Not necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
because when it comes to for some reason, and I don't know why, I don't think anybody understands why. Um, I mean, we all have an idea, but when dogmen, for some reason, tend to throw, you don't hear about them throwing like rocks or anything like that as much. But when it comes to like dogs and stuff that they kill on the property, for some reason they tend to throw them under a structure that's on the property.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know why. Maybe it's to mark the territory in some way.
Yeah.
I had it happen about a year before my sighting. We had a dog come up missing. A lot of people here have heard of this, but we had a dog come up missing, and we found him. He was under the house, and only way we found him was because he started smelling. So I had to go into the house and get him. And when I brought him out, it looked like somebody had held him up by his front legs and just gutted him.
Wow.
And my daddy told me he probably got into it with a bobcat. Hell, I didn't know any better at that point.
Right.
So, but then about a year later, I had this sighting, and then about a year later, or a little less than that, I have another encounter, with a dog man, a werewolf, whatever we would, and that's a problem too. I used to be wholeheartedly on they were two separate planes, two separate things. Now I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You see? You're as confused as I am on that.
Well, nobody can answer that question because, let me rephrase this. Nobody can answer that question to satisfy my own
curiosity.
Curiosity. Because speaking of dog, man, there's mine barking. But you hear a lot of people say, well, dogmen have backward facing legs. Dogmen has this. Werewolves have this. Just because we've never seen a dogman change shapes doesn't mean they're not. And there's that, So,
I mean, I guess all things are possible. And I refer like a werewolf, is what you see on TV and stuff,
Right.
A dog man to me is a whole other ball game. They're a totally separate entity in my book.
Well, and like I said, that's how I used to feel too. But I'm not so sure anymore. Now, I know if you look back through history, there's reports of these things. They were worshipped as deities. They were, almost every ancient culture has a canine, some kind of canine, upright walking canine that is either worshipped or told tales about.
Yeah.
So where did these things come from? Well, I have a theory on that too. But then that theory holds with the fact that they're two separate entities. So I'm all over the map right now. I mean,
well, you know what? Here's the thing. None of us are probably ever going to know until we meet the good Lord himself and we find out from the other side, Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it's getting even more confusing because as I'm researching and reading and listening to other people, and I mean, we can also throw a wolf man into this whole
Mm-hmm.
scenario.
Yep.
So what is
And
a
then
wolf man then,
you
Brandy?
have your skinwalker.
Right, but what would be technically considered a wolf man? To me, like when I hear, and I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know,
Mhm.
like what when I hear that term, I think like werewolf. So where would they be? How are they different?
Okay, from now, I may be wrong, and this may be my own opinion from what I'm
Right.
reading. But a wolf man it's more of a curse. A werewolf is
Gotcha.
from saliva transfer through a bite. A dog man is just a dog man.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so like I said, I mean, well, and of course, the skinwalker can imitate. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just really
Yeah.
confused about it. And it's like the more I research, the more I read, I'm just like, you know, I don't know all about this.
I
I
think
just,
Oh, Robbie just said you are correct.
I think it comes down to and Terry's got a great question. I want
I'm
to
just gonna
address
put it
that.
up. Yeah.
Um, I think it's to the point to where people believe what they're comfortable in believing.
Mm-hmm.
I think some
right.
people are afraid to question and taking the possibility that it they might be wrong because it
Yeah.
scares them to be that way, and I get that. I
Mm-hmm.
really, really do.
Right.
Um, Terry Mosby asked, "What category would you put Anubis?" See, that's where, and I did a whole spiel on Dogman origin theory, and it's over on my channel. But it's I think that's kind of where we see the beginning of these things. If we want to talk, for argument's sake, let's talk about Dogman being a separate entity. Okay,
Okay.
um, that's where you start to hear where they were worshipped as deities. They were super intelligent. They were, you
Right.
know, and there were armies of these things. Now,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who you listen to or who you believe, it's they were either used as slaves or they enslaved other races. So it just depends on what side of the coin you want to look at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I put a theory out there about the Great Flood almost wiping these creatures out.
Mm-hmm.
To save their species, they had to start interbreeding with other canines, possibly humans. I don't know, and that's why they're dumbed down now. I mean, don't get me wrong; the creatures that we see and deal with are intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but they're not hyper intelligent like they appear to used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
And I think that's possibly why we're getting so many looks. It's like I've said it a thousand times that I think it was Scott Carpenter's got a picture of a supposed dog man that looks like a freaking schnauzer to me. The one I saw looked different than,
Mm-hmm.
um, than the whole wolf thing. And, you hear about the Doberman lookalike, the German
Mm-hmm.
Shepherd,
The
all,
hyena.
yeah, hyena, they're all over the map.
Mhm.
So to me, that leads credence to different breeds, just like
Yeah.
different dog
Correct.
breeds.
Correct.
You know, or different types of humans, Caucasian and Asian and blacks. And, you know, so if that's the case, it would explain a lot
Mm-hmm.
as far as them being a separate entity.
Sure.
But no more than these things than we see, it's very possible they could be shapeshifters and they started out as shapeshifters.
Yeah. I I don't know. I don't know what they are. I have
Well,
no
okay,
idea.
so Anubis was the guardian of the gates of the gates of hell.
Well,
That was
the underworld.
The underworld. Okay.
Yeah.
The underworld. Down there. So, but if you think about it and you go back to folklore, hellhounds did the same thing. So, I
Yep.
mean, you've got them going one-on-one. Now you have numerous reports of dogmen being reported around cemeteries.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
could they be connected?
Sure could.
Why not? Just
I-
like
I-
Brandon, think about when we were at the LBL, we were at the cemetery, and I'm not saying, you know, like it was a Bigfoot or a dogman there, but there was definitely some weirdness that we heard. And then, you know, there's been time when I went to the alleged 1982 kill site out there. There was something out there that followed us out, and a cemetery is right there.
Yeah,
Right
it's only
there.
about what? A half a mile?
Not very far.
maybe?
Half mile, 3/4 mile walk, maybe a little longer, but
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah,
So
and it's very close. And for a dogman, that would be just like a little jog. That wouldn't be very far for it to go.
yeah.
So I mean,
And
could
that's
it be
another
connected?
point. That's another point, like, you know, and like I said, I'm only using the LBL because that's the only place I've ever been and researched these creatures. But, you know, there's 237 cemeteries at the LBL. And we
Yeah.
all know all of the, you know, alleged killings and missing people that go on out there. And if cemeteries do have something to do with it, you know,
Well,
I
look at
think
Brown Springs. Look at Brown Springs.
yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
burn that right
another
up.
That's
There,
another
there's a photograph. There's a photograph that I believe it was Red River Cryptids took, and it shows a canine creature in Brown Springs Cemetery laying on a grave.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you've got the picture, you know, that Dotson took, the late great Dotson, of a Bigfoot that's right. And Brandy saw this fence, so she knows right where it was. It was right behind that fence with the privacy sign on it.
Yes.
That's the fence he was laying behind, reaching up towards. He was laying on the ground. So,
Oh,
and of course, you've got my encounters out of there. You've got, you know, Doss's encounters out of there, and it's. I don't think anybody knows exactly what we're dealing with or they're dealing with even on their property.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I go back to, I think they believe whatever's comfortable for them, no different than the way they view Bigfoot. You know, some people believe, you know, they're friendly forest people, and some people believe that they're absolutely evil. I know somebody recently that has completely flipped their script on this.
Yeah.
Has went years and years and years saying they were protectors of the forest and they were good and they were here to help us, and have completely, I mean, in the last month, completely did a 180 and hold them responsible for every bad thing that's ever happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's
yeah. Well, like I
there's
said,
some people out there's going to know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but
yeah.
I think you see when a lot of people talk about having dogman encounters.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people talk about the sense of dread or doom or gloom when they see it.
Yeah.
And we've even coined a term called dogman sickness that this goes along with. Now, is that what this is, or is this another way of being zapped?
I don't know.
Talk about?
Yeah. I don't know. I believe there is you know, I do know like credible people who have, you know, been sick out there in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, so was it just a fluke thing, or was it something that they were zapped with? I don't know. You know, I don't know.
Well, I've had it happen to me in the field,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very, very weird experience. Loping right along, no problem. I was in the front of the pack, believe it or not, and it just, I mean, this feeling hit me. I thought I broke out in a cold sweat. I felt like I was fixing to pass out. 5, 10 minutes later, I felt better than I did before. You know, I mean, it was to the point where I was hugging a tree trying to stand up, and all the color had drained out of my face. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
did a Bigfoot zap me with infrasound, or was it? But and the thing about it is, and Ranger X has been looking into this, and what we're finding out is if you'll really, really look at the symptoms of what we call being zapped or infrasound,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mhm.
effects of infrasound mirror the effects that high EMF has on people.
Yeah.
They're almost identical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then the readings that we're getting out in the field, we're and it's not just us. You know, Jessica Jones and Grumpy and all them, they've been picking up these weird radioactive readings out in the
Yeah.
field, and we
Yeah.
did too.
Mm-hmm.
And we were also weren't around anywhere. We weren't around camp. We weren't around the cemetery or nothing. We were out in the middle of the freaking woods down in the bottoms, and we're picking up infrasound and ultrasound on a spectrometer. How do you explain that? And the whole radioactive thing, the radioactive readings we were getting were in the cemetery around a grave, and it was
Mm-hmm.
a very localized spot. Okay. Now, if it was something that you went up there and you regularly got at this spot,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe it's something that's in the tombstone. Maybe it's something there. Maybe, you know, but it doesn't. It's only there from what we found out at night at that
Well,
localized spot. You know.
yeah, that's weird because if
Hmm.
it's there and it's natural, it should be there all day, every day.
Yeah.
Right.
So to me, that's more on a spiritual level, like a paranormal level. Then.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what does that say about all this other stuff going on? Are we jumping over into the, you know, are we jumping on the woo train? Well, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, because
Well,
they're just unexplained. They're unexplained answers. You just
Right.
yeah. I truly, when we saw creatures peering out of behind trees and stuff at the
Hmm.
LBL, and then it wasn't 10 minutes later, people started seeing orbs, and they happened
Right.
all night long. So if I can't explain what that is, again, the LBL is also very haunted,
Right.
with ghosts and that kind of things.
it
So I
is.
can't say it wasn't ghost related. However, we were in the middle of nowhere. We were the only ones out there, and it wasn't just one or two of us that would see an orb every now and then. I mean, it was very frequent, and we were all seeing them. So if I can't say it was.
Uh-oh. She froze up on us again.
Like I'm back. I'm back. But I can't say if it was Bigfoot or Dogman out there. I don't
Right.
know. It could have been Ghost. It very well could have been. But my experience with Ghost, you get a few things, and then they go on. Eventually, within a half hour, and probably Brandy can attest to this, that room or something kind of dies out. This was all night.
Right.
Mhm.
I can't explain that. And if that makes me a little woo, then maybe I'm a little woo.
Well,
That's just my encounter.
Yeah.
and I'm really starting to hate the term woo, because we, for a long, long time, anything that people encountered in the woods that was big and dark and had glowing eyes or whatever, or making noise or got something thrown at, everything was a Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had this little Bigfoot box that everything was getting thrown into.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, now look, why is it that everybody's throwing this into a Bigfoot box? Because they're comfortable with it, because it's an easy explanation.
Yeah.
So what we started trying to do was take everything out of the box. And what we think is we're dealing with several different phenomena.
Yeah.
Now, why these phenomena are around what I believe are physical creatures, or the physical creatures are drawn to them, whatever the case may be, we don't know why.
Yeah.
But that very well seems to be the trend, because I personally don't believe that Bigfoot turns into an orb, okay, or jumps through a portal. That's just my belief. I think those are different entities. And we all know how I feel about mind speak. Okay, I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying you better be damn careful what you think you're talking to. Because if you're just taking something's word for it, that's going to lead you down a murky path.
Yeah. And I do got to comment on that. Do I believe that people can speak to Bigfoot? Maybe some people out there can, and maybe they can. However, being in the paranormal first, and for so many years, I have witnessed so many tricksters, that claim that they're this, but they're actually this. So I can't say for sure that people are talking to Bigfoot. They possibly are. I'm not going to say they're not, but this is my experience from doing the paranormal. I've just seen a lot of things play tricks on people, and a lot of negative things,
Yeah. And they don't.
So
my deal is, and I understand, I really do, that these people don't want to entertain the idea that it's not Bigfoot, because they want so much to either see one of these creatures, experience one of these creatures, or communicate with one of these creatures, that they leave the door wide open. Now, like you talked about tricksters, they don't always start out as negative.
It's true.
They will be very, very positive.
Yeah.
Until they get their hooks in you. So,
and a lot of times these tricksters, on the paranormal side, what are two things that we all trust? The elderly and children, right? We all want to help the elderly and children, and a lot of times these negative entities will first appear as a child in need, or an elderly person. So yeah.
Or somebody that's close to you. How do they know? If you go out there, but the thing about it is, I don't know anybody that went out and had a complete blank slate on what they thought, or what they wanted, or they didn't want to communicate with you, and then had this experience.
I will throw this out there too, though. I have studied mediumship. I've practiced mediumship. I've done mediumship, and it's nothing. In your gut, if you got something negative, if you got something positive, what you're talking to. At least I do, or who I'm talking to. So I can't knock people who do say that they mind speak with Bigfoot, because they know how they receive the information. Everybody's different. So if they understand, they know that they're receiving something from Bigfoot, I'm not going to tell them they're not, But like I said, my advice is just to be wary, man.
Yeah.
I don't see. Now here's kind of the thing with me. When you rebuke spirits, okay, if it's a Bigfoot and you're trying to rebuke a spirit, well, it shouldn't bother the Bigfoot.
Correct.
Right.
But if you rebuke spirits, or demons, or however you want to look at it, and this Bigfoot you're talking to goes away, that may be your answer.
Maybe,
You know,
maybe.
because if these entities, Bigfoot entities, are these friendly forest people, they're good, and they're not spirits, they're not demons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That should have nothing to do. The rebuking the other shouldn't have anything to do with
That's
communicating
true.
with Bigfoot.
No.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. No,
So
I would agree.
that may be a way people can weed things out. I don't know.
Yeah. Brandy, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, I'm so confused. I don't even know. I was just thinking about my experience in Oklahoma. Now I was in Choctaw First Nation country. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a McCurtain County, matter of fact. There's a whole bunch of sightings in there of Bigfoot and blah, blah, blah. So I'm out there. The first night I was out there, at one point, everything went dead silent. There was nothing. This was it was at nighttime. There was nothing. There was no sounds. There was no nothing. And we sat there. And okay, so I'm with my friend, Holly. I'm calling you out. Holly didn't know what she should be listening for sound wise.
Mm-hmm.
Me being an idiot. Okay, look, I got the Sierra sounds. I'll just play you a little bit of that. Don't do that, people. Please don't do that. Let me just tell you what happened. So everything went silent, and I played it just a little bit. I heard movement. I shut it off, and then it was either, and I can't tell, but it was either a tree knock or it sounded like somebody snapping their tongue. Like they go,
Right.
like that, or something super loud. I can't do it loud, but I know people who can do it very loud. And we
Mm-hmm.
heard this noise. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I playing this? I don't know what I just told them. I don't know what I'm doing. Please don't. I was just, trying to let her know what it would sound like, a little bit
Sure.
of it. So she would know what she was listening for. But we heard that the first night. Like I said, it sounded like somebody clicking their tongue super loud.
Mm-hmm.
Second night, we went out. Oh, the bugs were going and everything else. And you could hear like birds and things like this in the middle of the night. You're like, okay. But I did not see one animal, not one squirrel, not one raccoon, not
Right.
one possum, not one armadillo, nothing in this area. Nothing. So
Wow.
we went to bed. Well, I got up early and I'm like, okay, so fine. I got up early and I'm sitting out on the porch of where we were at the cabin, which is facing woods, and it's dense woods back there. So I'm just facing it, and guess what? Everything went silent. No
Mm-hmm.
crickets, no frogs, no birds, no animals, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Went on like that until the other ladies in the cabin started stirring. And when they started stirring and coming out and talking, well, then okay, all the frogs started, the crickets started, and birds, but I still didn't see an animal.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very strange to me. So if anything was watching, it was from a distance, and I'm not going to say it was or it wasn't, but that clicking noise really got me because that was not a normal sound. I heard it one time and one time only.
Robbie says tongue clicks could be a form of echolocation.
Possible. It's very possible. That's what it sounded like. I said it was either a tree knock from far away or it was a tongue click.
Yeah.
But it sounded more like a tongue click to me. So anyway, that was my experience in Oklahoma, McCurtain County. But I started reading stories when I got home, and I'm like, gee whiz, there's a lot of stories out there in that area. And again, Tex, that's not that far from Brown Springs again.
Yeah.
I see you, JD.
I'm gonna run down a list of something real quick. You can go to Find a Grave and just go to Brown Springs Cemetery. and you'll find all the known memorials that are in that cemetery and the names that go with them. So you've got Alonzo Armstrong, 1865 to 1888, J.H. Biven, 1838 to 1890, T.H. Bliven, 1833 to December 1880, Della Vashi Burkhart, 1876 to 1879. That's another child that I wasn't aware of that was out there. George Willard Burkhart, 1834 to 1884. Mary Elise Burkhart, 1879 to 1890. Olivia Doria Lynch Burkhart, 1845 to 1927. Now, see, that's a younger grave than the one that we know of up there.
Yeah, but we couldn't read the other ones at all.
Yeah. Paul Burkhart to 1897 to 1900. William Kreiner, unknown birth date to 1870. Mary E. Evans, 1881 to 1885. That's the one that I'm aware of out there. That's the one.
Right. That's the one I think you showed me.
Right. Amanda Mavina Grant, 1867 to 1868. That's another child that I didn't know about. That's a baby.
Are they just, maybe they're somewhere where we can't find them. You know what I mean? Because we're limited because of the hog wire. I mean, it's all over the place and you want to trip and fall. But do you think that they may be buried under brush or?
Well, a lot of these do not have a grave photo. So this must have came from the history of the place. Is the only thing I can figure. You got Margaret Grant from 1806 to 1867. Infant Haney, 1900 to 1900. Cecilia Haslip, 1814 to 1886. J. House, 1881 to 1884. See, there's a lot of kids up there, folks. A lot.
Hello, you can come in here.
I'm just wondering if we're just going to have to get out there with maybe some digging tools or something and dig some of these out, or because I don't remember seeing half of what now some of the names, they sound familiar.
Right.
Like there's one or two somewhere, but a lot of these I'm not recognizing the dates at all.
Yeah.
Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you. I've been sitting here putting this on mute and listening. I've got footsteps out here, and I just heard someone go up the steps, and I am in the building by myself.
Awesome.
Come on in. We'll see if somebody comes in.
Right.
I'm telling you,
have
this
a
place
seat next to
is
Krista.
Crazy active.
Yeah, have a seat next to Krista.
So if you see me go black, I'm walking out in the hallway. Sorry. All right.
Yeah, see, here's another one. Charlene Kelly, 1927 to 1930. There's even a younger grave.
Right.
Charles Kelly, 1927 to 1931.
What was that one? 1924? Was that the one that we had seen?
Yeah, that's the newest one up there. That it's got the new headstone on it and everything.
Yeah, somebody's taking care of that one for sure.
Right.
I didn't see, and some of those are so hard to tell.
Yeah.
You don't know if they've been sitting there that long.
Lewis Atlee Kelly Jr., 1927, 1930.
I think we're just going to have to get out there and start clearing and see what we find out there.
Here's another one. Ollie Mae Martin, 1900 and 1900. I mean, the amount of kids that are up there. Ruby Imogene Merle, 1923 to 1923.
Well, that makes you wonder what was going on. I mean, because you're talking right there in the early 1900s, all of, there. What was going on? I mean, did they not have any doctors or any type of medical care in that area at the time, or I don't know.
Now, here's one. I don't think this may be a typo. Charles Lee Smith, 1946 to 1947. Huh. Well, maybe it's not.
We're gonna have
So
to find that.
So Scott asked if there are any Taylors.
let me look.
Well, we're
And
gonna
then-
find that after break. We're rolling right up
Yeah.
onto a minute
Yeah,
and
we
a
got
half
about a
left.
minute and a half. Yeah.
So while Tex is looking for that, but I mean, that is amazing because y'all, we've been out there, we have looked, and I mean, we spent some time out there looking, and I've not seen these. I mean, like he said, the earliest grave we found was 1924 that is visible, and it's very visible, but the rest of them have been, just the elements have just worn out the stones and everything, and you can't see what you're doing out there. So it's amazing when he's telling us how many children are out there, and that, and these are just like newborns, just brand new, like they just wow.
Terry makes a good comment here. Sometimes the Historical Society has a plot map. I bet some
Yep.
have no stones.
That's
Well,
probably
and-
where your names are coming from.
And
Yeah.
there's a note on a lot of these graves that says grave lost in the cemetery, no stone. So
Wow.
it's
That could be it too.
and
Yeah.
I will look down the list. There is a lot. There's like several more infants that are on the list.
Gotcha.
Well-
Well, we're at that 52-minute mark. Let's take our break and then come back. I'm gonna walk this hallway here because we got stuff
Yeah,
going on here.
tell us what's happening when you come back.
I will.
Okay.
So y'all stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Come on.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back.
So I walked around. So Kathy and War Criminal 7 are here also, but I can't find them. And I know Kathy was going to go water plants. So there's nobody else in this building. So what I heard was with my friends.
Do you hear that, Terry? They're waiting on you.
They're waiting on
looking
us
for
Terry.
you.
Yeah. So guess what I'm doing after the show?
Yeah.
I am. I'm gonna go wandering. So anyway, we can go back on the Dogman talk.
You know,
So
Randy, you brought it up. We just touched on it, but we have to talk about when we're talking about Dogman. It's Hellhounds, okay? Because these Hellhounds per se. Now, Jason was told an encounter that happened at a funeral in a church where they were having the funeral. The doors opened to this church, and this huge black dog walked down the center aisle, walked up to the coffin, and turned around and walked back out of the church. Yeah. So, I mean, there's more details to it. You'd have to hear him tell it, but they firmly believe that was a hellhound coming to get the unfortunate soul that was in the casket.
yeah, well, Terry Mosby was telling us a story too, that they had encountered something that resembled or could have been
Hound. Yeah.
Yeah. They were talking about the red eyes also. Most of the research that I've done state that hellhounds usually appear with charred fur, that their fur will appear black, but it's like it's burnt, and it will have the red eyes. So, kind of scared of those. Kind of scared of those.
Yeah.
They've been walking through some fire. Nope, not for me. Thanks.
Right. Me either. No, not at all. Can you guys hear? Guys, seriously, can you hear tapping? Now I have tapping.
No, I don't hear anything.
I see the lights dim every once in a while, but I just figured that was.
I think that's the lights in here, the overhead lights, but it's right out. Like I'm in what's called the chapel. What was the chapel? They used to like hold funerals and stuff in here, but out, it's more out in the hallway. So
Well, you need to ask Kathy if that's normal with the lights.
they're not blinking in here. It's just showing that way on the screen, but they're really not.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
seeing them.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to ask about that.
Well, it's the fluorescent lighting, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that does do weird things when you're filming, sure.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
didn't know that if you guys could hear that tapping, because that's quite interesting. I hope it's just this active tomorrow night when we go live.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be facing my fear tomorrow.
Yeah. Shit, we're gonna throw Brandy in the basement tomorrow.
Yep.
That's kind of a ongoing theme. We chunked you in the basement last time when we was up in Alabama too.
Yep. We
Yep.
did the same thing to you, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I was talking to Kathy, who's a very dear friend and the curator here, and I haven't been here since the Tennessee Wraith Chasers were here, and that was like back in November, something like that. So it's been a while, man. And like all these ghosts, I've ghost hunted here so much, like I know them, so maybe they're happy to see me. Who knows?
Right. Well, Tex, this is something I haven't been telling you. I've been going over some of that evidence while I've had some time off from Alabama. And let me tell you, there is a woman and there is a man in that attic. I heard them both.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got, well, it's actually a disembodied voice because I heard it because I marked it on my recorder.
Right.
And when I went back to listen to it, it is a definite female voice. And she's going, huh? Or like, huh? Or something like that. And I knew it wasn't Krista because it didn't have that sound, because you can tell the difference of hearing her voice through my phone. And then this voice, it sounded like it was right on top of me. And I was like, what? Huh? So, and that there's a definite man running around there too. I heard him. So, yeah. They got some business. And I haven't even got through it. I mean, it took me probably 6-7 hours to do 1 hour of evidence because I've had to listen, re-listen, go back,
Right.
and cut it and splice it and then turn it up, eliminate sound. And I mean, it takes a long, long time to do all this, but yeah, there is definitely something there.
Yeah, I'm trying to play it here now. I was going to try to save it and see if I can play it
I
real quick.
just put it on there for a test because I didn't eliminate the sound.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I just sent it through there to see what it would sound like to me. And you can't hear it as plain as you can through my computer. So I'm going to have to work a little bit with that and see if I can't get it to come out better, because I absolutely marked it. I was like,
okay.
Yep. Because it wasn't
Yeah.
Kristen, it wasn't me. And there was only 2 people upstairs, and that was Andrew and myself. So there were no other women up there. So there was no contamination.
Yes.
I'm curious as what happened if the recorder picked up anything I was hearing down there in the basement.
I haven't even got to that part yet. Like I said, I went through 1 hour of evidence and it took me forever. Because it's interesting. The place is subtle. It's not a reach out and grab you kind of place yet. That's because nobody's been in there talking to them and giving them that energy. So it's like they're subtle, but they're there. You absolutely hear them. Absolutely.
And I will say this: that is a place that you don't think you gotta go to at night.
No, no. I got pinched there right during the day. Right during the day, I got pinched in the arm
during the conference.
Yes, I did.
It was during the conference, so yeah, you did.
And the owners of the place were telling us that's where the lunch counter was, and that they would hear strange noises from that area, like dishes clanking around or whatever from that area. And sometimes they'd hear a woman's voice. So, wow, that's where we were set up, of course.
Right.
And Anita Collier was saying the night before she got pinched twice.
Yep.
And it put little blisters on her. And I'm like, are you kidding me? She's like, no, it hurt. And I'm like, okay. So then I got pinched that day and I was like, I'll be darned. It sure did happen. And she looked, and Krista looked at me, and I didn't get a red spot or nothing, but boy, I'll tell you what, it did hurt. I
Well, I
grabbed
was
my arm for a
I was
while.
talking to Anita the other day, and because she reached out to me, she goes because something followed her home.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she messaged me and had said something like that. She said she thinks that she's gotten it gone.
yeah, yeah. I talked to her, and I said you don't want to be real aggressive with it. I mean, it's probably your dance part, what we called her dance partner,
Yeah.
and I said just have a conversation with them, ask them to leave. That seems to have
Mhm.
taken care of it, and a lot of times it will. You know,
Yeah.
if it's not something that's ornery. But now I will tell you this: when I was down in the basement, I marked everything that I heard, so that should make it a little easier for you.
Yeah.
But I heard a footstep down there, and where I was sitting, pretty much in the middle of it, in
Yeah,
that chair,
yes, you were.
and I heard the footstep over. If you're facing the stairs, over to the left, up in that front corner.
Hmm.
And so I heard that, and then I kept getting what I thought were spider webs on me, on my arm and my beard, and I
Yes.
think even on my head. Um, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I need to go through that. Now I looked through the evidence of when we left the camera running during our break when we had the live investigation.
Mhm.
I didn't pick up anything during that.
right,
No voices or anything because mostly we were hearing the music from our 5-minute break. So I
right.
Sure.
didn't hear anything that, and I didn't see anything out of the ordinary moving at that time, which is okay. It
Well,
happens.
and
It's
even
not like
during the
it's going to happen
conference,
all the time.
your little ball was changing colors over there and coming on
Yes,
by itself.
yes. Yeah, I have a ball that looks like a planet, and it comes with a remote, and you can change the colors with the remote. This thing was just sitting there, and it'd be on that certain color, and then it would just change colors.
That's
Just
true. It sure did.
no
And it
apparent
did it
reason.
the night before, if you remember correctly, when we
Yes,
were setting up and we had to
yes, it
take it
did.
with us so it didn't
I
drain
had
the
to take
battery
it
all
with
night.
us. Yeah, so it wouldn't drain the battery because it kept turning it
Mhm.
on. Remember, it
Yep.
kept turning it
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And
I
then the day
do.
of the conference, it just kept changing the colors on it. And like I said, the only way to do that is through the remote.
Hmm.
So
Well, you
I
turned it
yeah,
off. You turned it off at the conference, and
yeah,
it turned back on.
yes,
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, this is creepy.
Yeah, that building is definitely haunted. There's no
yeah,
doubt in my mind.
yeah.
I'd like to see those group photographs of us and see
Hmm.
if anything was
Any weirdness?
photobombing us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't gone
None of
back
the
and watched.
selfies.
Right, I haven't gone back and actually watched the our show from that night, which I need to do because that's video and audio. So I haven't gone back through that to see if anything, weird that we didn't catch
Mhm.
you know, during our live. So I still got to do all that. So that's another just one night there is a lot of work because there are things there and like I said, they're subtle and you just have to keep going through it and listening and going back
Sure.
and but yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's a great place and it's a fun place and
Yeah.
it is so big compared to what it looks like from the outside. I
Hmm.
Yeah.
mean, it's got this full upstairs and a full basement and these places are not small.
I
And it's
I I
beautiful.
really hope we're able to get in there next year and go back.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
I don't either. Those guys were good.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time there in Anniston and so hey everybody, catch it next year.
Yep.
You're missing
Yep.
out. It was
For
fun.
sure next year.
It was
Ho-
fun.
However, really quick, since we're talking about events, we got a couple tickets left for Saturday night's ghost event at Malvern Manor. So if anybody is around the area and they want to join us, tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. So real quick, just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, come join us Saturday.
Yeah, come join us Saturday.
2 days from now, if you're in Iowa, we're still
Yeah.
there. We're still going to be
Yeah.
there.
Yep. And then 2 weeks we'll be in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So
Yes,
that'll
for
be
the
a fun one.
Bigfoot conference. That's going to be a big one too. So
Yeah, that's a
I'm
big
looking
one.
forward to
And
seeing everybody there.
yep. And we have a booth. We're a vendor at that one. So if you're able to, definitely you won't miss us because our banners are huge. So
You can't miss us.
no, you can't miss us. So
Just look for green and yellow. You can't miss us.
that'd be us. And yeah, come over and see us. There's a lot of other people going to be there too. So you might just be surprised who you run into at that event.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to miss that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's going to be a big one. Well, I mean, Tex, we have a whole lot of things going on. I mean, it's kind of like, well, if they start winding down, which they're not really for us. I mean, we're going to have a lull in August. I think we're going to have a break here in August, but then if it starts all back up in September again. So, you got to kind of pick and choose.
Yeah, because I think everybody but Rob is going to be at the Dogman conference in September.
Yeah.
Good.
And I think even Danielle Diva is looking at coming down too. So,
well, you know what? I mean, there's enough of us going to be there. It's not like she'll be there alone.
that's for sure.
We're all going to be
That's
there.
For sure. Yep, that'll work. Yeah, so that's another conference I'm really looking forward to. I mean, the lineup of speakers is incredible, and I mean, it just And you're on a panel as well, aren't you, Tex?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll have a vendor's table and I'll be on the panel.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, because like the day before we get to have a field trip to Falk, Arkansas, that I'm pretty excited about. So
and when we're at the folks, if you make it to the Dogman conference in Fort Worth, which is not actually in Fort Worth, it's on the outskirts of Fort Worth, but you're only 10 minutes away from where the Lake Worth Monster is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I want to go out there. I don't know if we'll have enough time. But yeah, I'd like to go out there just to look at it,
Yeah. So Scott, the Dogman conference is Labor Day weekend, and it's in Fort Worth, Texas.
It's on the outskirts. It's actually in White Settlement is the name of the town. It's White Settlement, Texas, and it's on the outskirts of Fort Worth. So yeah. And it's Labor Day weekend.
Yep. And I believe tickets are available and they are on sale through Eventbrite. I think if you type in Dogman Conference or Paranormal Roundtable, it should come up.
Yep.
So, and if not, message us and we'll send you the link through email or something. So yeah, that's going to be fun event.
Well, I emailed y'all the link to these memorials in Brown Springs so y'all can take a look at them.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that. I did saw
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Joanstead Farms, she's our friend Anna, and she's going to be actually in Gatlinburg and staying with us. And she says, I sure wish I could make that Dogman conference this year. You guys are going to have so much fun. Yeah, she was able to go to last year's, so I'm a little jealous of her there.
Yeah. It's like, she got to go last year.
Yeah.
But hey, come on, we'll be there. Just come on.
Yeah. And we get to hang with her again in Tennessee, so that'll be fun.
Yeah,
She's
that's
fun.
right. That's right.
There's a couple questions here. JD Smooth says, Krista, do you think you got something there with you? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. This place, there's 50 rooms here, all filled with antique old artifacts. So you not only have the history of the building, which used to be a poor farm, then it was a nursing home. So you not only have that, but you got all these artifacts in here. And there's even a haunted puzzle here that we know is haunted. There's all kinds of things here. So yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Tune in tomorrow night's show and we'll tell you about some of the individual ghosts that do haunt here. So
Yeah.
little
Yeah, I'll
Patty.
be there. Let's get into it tomorrow night because I tell you what, we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna be down that basement. Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward.
And our
to
friend is the helmet. Terry's bringing the helmet, so I'm hoping maybe we can do a session with the helmet live with all you guys, so you guys can check it out and see how that works. But little Patty, I am at the Ray County Museum in Richmond, Missouri. So, and then JD says he'll be there in Gatlinburg. Come and see us, JD. You won't miss our booth.
Y'all,
Hi and meet us.
do y'all have any? Do y'all have any storms or anything moving in over the weekend up there? Or?
Not that I'm aware of. I have to look up Malvern still. So we have a plan, and actually I know Terry's in chat, and I haven't even told her yet. Only Brandy. I haven't even told War Criminal yet. But so the Villisca X Murder House is 40 minutes from Malvern Manor. So we've done a show on Villisca with Johnny Hauser, and so we're gonna take a little detour on Saturday morning and at least go by the house and go check out Villisca, and then head over to Malvern. So anyway, now everybody knows. So Terry,
Surprise.
Yeah. So
while we're there.
Yeah. It's not that far, so not that far at all. Little Patty says that I guess we're not that far from her. What town are you in, Little Patty? If you want to comment or message privately. So anyway, fun stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is she meaning Oklahoma's not far from her?
Yeah, she said she's in Higginsville. Oh my gosh, she's just a little south. Yeah, okay. I just went through Higginsville to come here tonight. So very cool. Very cool.
See, she's not that far from Malvern.
No. No. So
that murder house, that's the one that y'all were talking about not long ago that can get pretty hinky.
It's negative. It's definitely negative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to see how. I know this is. I know I'm gonna get yelled at for this, probably by y'all two both, but I kind of like dealing with that kind of stuff because I'm curious to how it's going to interact with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tend to be a bit aggressive on that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think the Villisca, from what I've heard, I think it picks its
people. It does. From what I understand, it picks its people, kind of like it says, okay, I'm going to pick on you today. This is who I've got.
Yeah.
So Tex, you could walk in there and nothing will happen to you, but then it'll say, okay, Krista, come here.
Yeah. Terry says they do tours. So just an FYI, Terry, it's 40 minutes away. So I say we all go to Villisca before we go to Malvern.
Well, Terry said she investigated it twice.
Yeah. And she said they do tours. So anyway, I need to message Johnny Hauser and I will do that tonight. See if we can do that real quick.
Well, yeah, because he's supposed to be out of town. So
yeah. So anyway, it's gonna be a fun weekend, and like I said, if anybody's in the area, we have a couple tickets left, and we got a pretty good lineup of people coming. So
yeah, especially if you live in Higginsville.
Yeah. Yeah. Little Patty in Higginsville.
How far is that to Malvern? About 3 hours?
About 3 hours.
Yeah, see, little Patty, you can't get away.
Terry says, I'll have to tell you my story. The first time was there. Second time, not so much. So I'm curious.
Well, locations go quiet. I mean, they really do. They will sometimes just shut down and be quiet.
Yeah, that's
Let me,
true.
let me ask y'all. I want y'all's opinion on something. I was talking. I asked you about the weather,
Hmm.
and the reason I asked you about the weather is because I know when we've done investigations in Oklahoma that the craziest night that we've ever had was the night after we had severe storms roll through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it went green. We had a tornado warning, the whole 9 yards, and we were camping. So, um, do you think if you have storms roll through and you have that added energy in the air, do you think that makes a difference?
Yes.
Because I
Absolutely.
know we were talking, y'all were talking about,
Yeah.
things going quiet. Is it possible that they run out of energy, and then it takes a while to recharge, and maybe this helps?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of people will use like Tesla coils and things like that to charge the air, or what they call EMF pumps, which is pretty much the same thing, but on
Right.
a smaller scale. But they will use these to put electricity in the air so they can use this. And I believe 100% every time that a storm is rolled through where I'm doing an investigation, everything picks up, and depending on the severity of the storm, that depends on how long they'll be around. But I'm telling you what, I've always had good success. Always.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
So,
Aaron
so
says 80% chance of rain tomorrow.
for the museum hunt, yeah. So
I'm like, yay.
hopefully it's after 8 p.m. so we can have a good show for you guys and have some activity.
Right, we'll have a good show then. Brandy might not be going down the basement.
Yeah. Crystal
oh,
says,
come on now! Don't chicken out.
I'll go down there
Oh,
with
no,
you,
I'll go
Brandy.
down there. I will go down there.
You
Absolutely.
know what?
put
I
your
got to tell you, that basement has nothing like the upstairs does. Nothing compares to it. The upstairs is the weird place for me. Downstairs doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah. And downstairs is where I get where I get my weirdest activity. See, and that all depends again on you. It's all
yeah.
about you and,
Hmm.
what gets you going.
Yeah.
I guess and maybe I get a little crazy down there because I mean jail cells and everything else down there. You kind of lose yourself down there. You're like, I'm in jail cells down here. There's something wrong.
Yeah. Yep. Crystal says Saturday in Malvern is just going to be cloudy, and I believe she's coming too on Saturday, so that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She is coming.
Um,
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be cloudy, and that's okay. That's okay because Malvern is a well explored location, and Josh Hurd, who owns it, he does investigations all the time and has great,
And he posts
success
them
with
on
it.
his channel. He posts them
Yeah,
on his channel on YouTube. I
you
think
can.
it's just Josh Hurd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go to his YouTube channel and see some of the stuff that he puts out. Um, like I said, but every person's different when they walk in. They may have great stuff in one place and you're getting nothing. So it really all
Mhm.
depends on you and your vibration, what you're putting out.
Yeah.
I believe
I'll tell
that
you what.
is true.
Yeah, Malvern's got some really interesting areas, and this will be my third time there. And it's definitely got some interesting areas that I prefer some over others. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And see
I
this,
know where I'm sitting.
yeah. And
start.
Malvern this is going to be my first time. So
Yeah, you've never been, have you?
yeah, no, I've never been. So this is going to be my first time. So this is where this is going to be cool for me because everything is going to be new. So when I'm walking around and you see me doing all this stuff, it's all new to me. So it's
Hmm.
going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So I've got a question. Let's start with the museum.
Hmm.
Have y'all identified or and see that's a hard thing to say because for
You
me
never know.
because you never know
Hmm.
what if they're telling you the truth or not. But
Hmm.
do y'all think y'all may have identified any spirits in each location? Uh,
Well,
but start with the museum and then go to Melbourne.
so Malvern, absolutely. Obviously there's been names and stuff picked up here, and we'll all talk more about this tomorrow night. But Erin Smith, our friend who is in chat, she is very, very, she was a skeptic. She didn't believe in none of this stuff until she came to the museum. And she's all about the evidence, more like the scientific side of it. Why, you know, she needs a reason. She needs to back it with facts. And she has a lot of the ghosts around here. She has done her homework. So yes, we have done work on that. Now Malvern, believe Josh Hurd has done the same thing with that place. So he's got, you know, there's a certain few, and he'll tell you about each one. And
Oh, there she goes again. She'll
Yeah.
click back in a second. Yeah, he's identified certain spirits that are. You froze up there, Krista.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
identified certain spirits that when he calls out their name or something like that, he does get responses from that particular spirit. But again, do you know for real? No, you don't.
Right. Yep.
So is it
James.
mainly just positive stuff in these locations, or do y'all have any negativity that you have to deal with?
So the museum, we have had negativity here, and we have had to deal with it, and it has been removed. No longer here, and so it's good here now. Still a little wonky, I guess, in that one certain area where I've been attacked at the museum twice. So
Wow.
and still in that area where that entity was, it still kind of gives me the EBGBs, even though I know it's gone, you know. However, Malvern, I've never been like attacked or scratched or, you know, anything there. So
Yeah. And Josh
So
would be the first one to get rid of anything like that anyway.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
see, and that brings up an interesting question, because we were talking about earlier. You know, I made the comment about, you know, you rebuke stuff, you know, and the Bigfoot doesn't go away. Well, that kind of narrows your field there.
Mhm.
I really didn't know that you could get rid of certain stuff as far as paranormal spirits go or whatever, and leave the other stuff alone.
hmm
I figured it was like when you cleanse something, you just wash everything out. You
Well,
know,
it wasn't a cleansing how we got rid of it. It was more like so I'll tell you what happened. It wasn't a demonic entity. It was just a nasty human spirit. And I'll show tomorrow night in the area where this happened. Well, a friend of ours, the spirit entered him, literally jumped him. And this particular spirit did not like me at all. Before then, I was sitting in the genealogy room, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was choked. I had to get out of the building. And so, like I said, this particular entity, I don't know, it just had a beef with me. And it jumped into a friend, And this friend grabbed another friend and said, "Get in front of Krista." And he was coming after me. And it took two men and Kathy, and I believe it was Nikki, to hold him down from attacking me. And then I started doing the exorcism stuff over him, and then he become himself. But he could remember, he could tell it was coming, like he was getting ready to jump me.
Well, yeah, I
So
mean, because spirits can influence your mood to the point of overly happy or
mhm.
angry, depression. Um,
Yeah,
they can do that without being demonic, just to let you know.
yep.
And
This was wholeheartedly
normally,
a human spirit.
right. And normally I would say that if it affects you, you're more or less an empath. You're feeling their feelings. So
hmm
be aware of that too.
hmm Yeah.
so
So
so if you're doing an investigation and say you walk in there beforehand, you're life of the party, you're all in a good mood, whatever. And if somebody's mood drastically changes,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's a red flag that y'all look for.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
When this happened, I mean, he knew someone, right? He said he was getting ready to pass out, and Kathy and I grabbed him. She was on one side of him, I was on another. And there's a schoolroom upstairs, and it's got the old time desk. And we sat him down in one of those, and it was within like seconds. He grabbed another guy named Greg and pulled him over in front of him, in front of me. And he was, next thing you know, he was like doing everything he could do to attack me. It was the craziest thing, and literally just started doing our prayers like we do for a demonic exorcism, and brought him out of it. And
Well,
then we had to
you
go
know
back
what?
out of it. So
I can't honestly say that I would. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'd be praying for him, but it might be after a punch in the teeth. I'm just saying.
yeah,
You know, I mean, well, if that's what it came down to, it's either me or them, and I'm going to take you out first. Excuse me,
Yeah.
I'll wake you up later. But this is what's going to happen. I'm going to knock you out, and then I'm going to pray for you. Okay?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
right,
Exactly.
right.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, this particular guy, he's not a big guy at all, and it took and one of the guys that like jumped in front of us, he is a big dude. He's tall, and he's a bigger guy, and
Mhm.
it took everything everybody had to hold him back from getting me. I mean, he had unreal strength. So, but after that, we did have to totally get rid of it, and we did by basically doing an exorcism on the place.
So did you find out who you were dealing with?
Yes, we did. We know who it was. He was a woman and a child abuser, and his wife and children. Now, Erin Smith is in chat. She's the one that looked all of this up, and we've got the information. She might be able to chime in, but they were held here to stay away from him. So
okay.
he wanted them.
They were actually residents there in that building. So
Yeah, they were in hiding.
Maybe you reminded him of his wife or something.
Possibly. Yeah. And the fact that I don't back down to him,
Yeah.
I knew he was there. I knew he was an a-hole, so, and when he choked me, like, it was totally off guard, sitting there in the genealogy room, half asleep, and Kathy was sitting with me, and I literally, I could feel hands on my throat, and I had to get out of the building, and that did freak me out for a bit.
Yeah. So, as usual, he was a coward.
Yep.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
that's normal with those type of people.
Yeah, but I assure you, he is no longer here. He gone. He's been gone now. It's probably been 2 years.
Yes.
Now,
And this museum is in Richmond, Virginia. Here we go again with that. Missouri. Why do I always want to say Virginia? Like I'm going to send you somewhere else.
Right.
I don't know.
So have y'all ever had run into something like that, like a negative spirit or paranormal asshole? However you want to look at it.
Yeah.
That you run off, but they keep coming back. You know what I'm saying? That
Are you talking more like a trickster type deal where like they're really rude to you, do stuff to you, and then run off?
no. Have y'all ever encountered something that you ran off temporarily and then had to deal with it again?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I guess if you're not strong enough or firm enough the first time, and they just don't get the hint, they just walk away from you and go, "Well, I'll just deal with you later. I'll catch you outside."
Yeah.
Or if your intention isn't there either, you can say the words and they mean nothing. But if you don't mean them from your heart, your intention's not there. So it's not going to work.
And believe me, when Krista says say it from your heart, when I say this, get away from me and leave me alone, that's from my heart.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be a big, long, thing you got to
Yeah.
say. I just tell them, get away from me, leave me
Yeah.
alone. You're not allowed to touch me.
Yeah. Well,
Stop.
Erin,
Yeah.
she just commented, and she was there. She witnessed all this when I was attacked, and she said one of the most bizarre things I've ever witnessed.
Right.
It was crazy.
Right. And it's just like Tex said, it was just a coward. He was just attacking somebody
Absolutely.
who he thought was weak. And women were probably his number one go-to,
Mm-hmm.
It's like he was mad, he's going to go, he's going to go beat up on women and children. That's what he's going to do.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Little Patty's
So,
making fun of me. Yeah, I know it's not Virginia, but that's just what pops out of my mouth.
yeah, she's in Chiefs Kingdom. And we are right now in Chiefs Kingdom. I'm in Kansas City area.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we've dealt with tricksters. I know JD Smooth asked this a little bit ago. We have dealt with them too. And Chris and I think we were just talking about this last night or Monday night or something. And I said, I hate tricksters. And because they just want to come up and they want to do a little something and they make you chase them around. I mean, it's kind of like when you're running through a location and they're like, okay, I'm here. And then I'll run over here. I'm here. Oh, they make me so mad. They make me mad because you got to chase them.
Maybe you ought to break out the Marco Polo type.
No doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
Right.
After a while, you just sit down. They'll come to you. It's like, what? You're not going to pay attention to me? Okay. I'm coming to you then. And that's usually how it goes because I watch people all the time where they start chasing these spirits all the time. And I'm like, wow. Uh-oh. She's got something going. I see her little finger going.
Kathy just came in. I was like, you for sure we're not in here because I had the footsteps.
Oh.
They've been gone. So, yep.
Well, yeah, that figures. Just warming it up for me tomorrow, I guess.
Yep. It'll be ready tomorrow.
And now Kathy, who's the curator of the museum, she's just phenomenal. She'll walk through and she'll liven them up for you when you're coming in. You just tell them to be nice, Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just be nice.
She's hanging out. She's hanging out with war criminal.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm ready to go ghost hunting, guys. So
yeah, I figured you would be.
Yeah, we're at an hour and 37 minutes in.
Yeah, I'm right now charging my equipment. I got to get the rest of that packed up so I can leave out here early in the morning and get there and get started. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
Y'all be sure to tune in tomorrow night. Like I said,
did you
we're gonna be live.
Face? Krista.
Yeah.
She was like that.
I don't like either one of you. Just say.
It's not like we didn't invite you, Tex. So just stop.
Right. That's right.
I know, and that's what gets me so bad.
It's like, look, we invited you everywhere. Now, come on. Now you have to pick and choose. You know that. We can't do everything.
I know.
Right. Well, once again, we do appreciate everybody tuning in, and I apologize about our guest. I actually heard from him, so he was running late at work. So anyway, we'll reschedule, and thanks for putting up with Tex and Brandy and myself tonight. We appreciate that.
Terry said she's gonna miss you, Tex.
You
I'm gonna miss.
You can still get in your car and make it here in time.
Just
go. Put your wife in the car and say, "Come
bring her
on."
with you.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, we tried.
That's right.
She wants nothing to do with this stuff at all.
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
Yeah. I don't either.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when we get out to Malvern, she wouldn't have a choice. She would eat. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. Yep. Well, once again, we appreciate everybody, and tune in tomorrow night. And have a good night, everybody. Have a good Friday. And we will see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.